Hi class, I wanted to give you some video feedback. I'm going to look at these as a first-time site visitor, so even though I've looked at them, we're going to think about the functionality, the content, what it's like for a first-time user to land on your site, and you'll take these edits and you will duplicate your site and implement these for your week 4 revision of this client site. All right, let's jump right in. First, let's remove the login. Those buttons, just select those and hit delete on your keyboard. A little hard to read this, but I'm not nitpicking about that right now. Let's put your disclaimer at the bottom, all right? And we need to link up these to the client's account. Okay, we want to be careful about dishes, glassware, because it's a food truck. So you may want to replace that image. But other than that, this is looking really good over here. Okay, so a bit of scrolling here. It's clear, but there's a lot of scrolling. On a mobile, it would be quite a bit, I think, more than you needed. Do understand, though, Monday and Wednesday are the same locations, and so are Tuesday and Thursdays. So that might be able to help you there get a little more room. Okay. So here we have this, but under your about, but over here is where I suspect you have the content. Okay. And for some reason it's not scrolling. Beyond that, it's actually freezing on me, so I don't know that that's on your end. But it's not happening on the other pages. Okay, double check that. All right, make sure that you have the about story on just one page. Equal spacing here as here and here. I know it's a different segment, but then you would need to kind of indicate that, like with a heading or something. Also, we need a higher contrast here. So you want the text to be darker. Yeah, so we just need the about content, a few other details. The menu is where people spend most of the time, so pretty good there. Yeah, all right, double check that. Okay, great start, great start. Just make sure you set some time aside to make some of those detailed adjustments, all right? Good work. Okay, Paul. Interesting. Okay, let's make sure you do have the logo in the header. That's good. These need to link up. Good job putting the footer copyright year. We do need the disclaimer. I would remove the background because clients don't like their logos to be cut up like that. They don't want them to be cropped, so I would keep that in mind. You can crop this down to maybe 3 paragraphs with a line space here, so they have a little bit more breathing room. So you'll take that off. You won't really need that here either. And you'll want to enter your menu content here. The colors are good, and I like the navigation is super easy, but all of this content does need to be entered. And I would remove the background. All right, so I would set several hours aside. Doesn't have to be stressful as long as you've put some time aside for that. All right. But it's a good solid start with your navigation. You just need to enter the content, remove that background. All right. All right. Good job. Okay. Michael. Good. Nice. I don't see, this isn't bothering me at all. I don't really see glassware. This is hard to read, so you'll want to do something there, and this gets hard to read, which means that this image needs to drop back further, or you need to have a rectangle put behind that, okay? Maybe in this color. All right. It could be, 80% transparent rectangle. Do try to give us some hierarchy here, whether it's like bolding the title of the food item. I would remove this background, hard to read, so you're going to have that issue there and here as well. I would take all this and put it down here. And we need a footer. Okay. And we might need a header. Yeah, looks like we need a header here. So the easiest thing to do is to add pages. And rather than adding navigation and linking the page titles to the strip, you could do that. You could look at the troubleshooting video on your announcements for week 3. But probably it's easier to add pages. And the way you're going to do that is to come over here and let's just, I'm going to remove these so you can see. And then, so I would go up here and I would add a blank one, frankly, so you don't have to remove anything. And I would call this locations, or yeah, that would be good. You'll need one for menu, and you can add it, it might be easier just to add all that yourself. You'll need a contact page. I do use their contact page, but I use the basic. There is a place where you could add a menu. It gets a little bit tricky. You come down to restaurant and only menus. You don't do any of that. And so you could add that. And it will go ahead and put this in. You would have to then, of course, replace the images and the item descriptions. Okay. Then when you go over here, you're going to actually, you just want this one. All right. So if you're up here, see this, we don't want that one, because we created one now that you could just use that and put in what you want, but we've created this. Let me get rid of that. We've created this new one through the restaurant pages that we added up here, and we do want to rename it menu. Okay, so it will show up here and it will link automatically, and that's why it's easier and quicker to do that. And I'm not sure why that's not adding. We can do it this way, preview and try and add it. Okay, well, try and find a very simple one like this. It's not adding either. Okay, not sure why that's happening, but we can also add a blank. And then you can add a form if you need to by going up here and selecting contacts and forms. Keep it super simple. This would be fine. You definitely want it simple. And I don't like this background color. I'm going to change it. In your case, you're probably going to go, blue or something. Anyway. Okay, so those are the things you need. This is a totally different site, right? These are for your professional sites that you could make this week, and you could use just blank templates, and you would have less to remove, which I think may be the direction we take the whole class, okay? But, okay. All right. I can't leave that because it's just not attractive, that red. You go back here to your site design, and that's how you remove backgrounds. Let's say you have the red here, and I just want blue or green. Let's try that. I can apply to other pages and do this. I can say all pages and automatically do that. Okay. So I like that better. All right. I hope that that helps a little bit. You will need to, correct the navigation, and sometimes beginning from the beginning helps. And then you can just copy and paste your content onto those pages. Otherwise, you'll have to link it. Like I said, you can look at the tutorial that is in week 3, and it will teach you how to link to certain strips. Okay, good job here putting on the fictitious disclaimer. Okay, the menu is either has large files or it's not, that button isn't actually linking. Make sure you link up to the client's social media. This could go a little bigger. Okay, you do want to add this content. You only need about 3 paragraphs, but do be selective in adding those, and that will need to be completed. It looks like you may have found a way to add that. Make sure that they are linked. So double check these, and all you do here is double click on those in your editor and the link symbol icon and add these. Delete this and the shopping cart. All right, so a little more time, but clean and on the right track. Okay. All right, everybody. I'm looking forward to seeing where these are next week. You've made progress, and just setting enough time aside to play with it. That's what you want to do. It's not hard if you allow that time. All right? All right, everybody. Contact me with any questions whatsoever in the feedback of your assignment, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I do usually check these things over the weekend. All right? All right, everybody. Have a great afternoon.